How did I end up in Croydon? My name is Jana Kahabka. I live and work in the Croydon Shire, managing its heritage, culture and tourism. I'm a girl from Oyster Bay in the famous Shire in the southern suburbs of Sydney. I'm a post-war child, the daughter of emigrants. My mum and dad met on the boat Mallorca on the way over to Australia. My mother was a Welsh woman whose family lived in Surrey in England during the war. She emigrated because she was sick of the war. My father was a refugee who went to London. He had defected from Czechoslovakia as he had endured Nazism and then communism. During my childhood, Oyster Bay was quite an enclave of refugees, lots of different nationalities and a high proportion of Aboriginal people. There were men in hiding, living in huts on the Georges River, and all you saw of them was their warm coffee and unfinished meals. It was an interesting place to grow up. I learnt not to differentiate between nationalities, race, anyone for that matter. We always travelled. Dad had made a trailer, and we would go off on mad adventures around Australia. Mum and Dad both had inherent depression, and travel was their cure. The only child to inherit it, I followed their travel lead. I went to teachers' college, but realised pretty early on that the formal teaching role wasn't for me. It didn't suit my personality. I married soon after I finished college, and we travelled south and then up to Central Australia. My husband and I separated badly in Alice Springs, and since I didn't have children, I could chase adventure through a very interesting career. You could say that I had adventure in my blood even then. This doesn't mean to say that I didn't have my share of boring jobs, but I was always happier in the great outdoors. Fortunately, I found my way to Queensland around 1980 and to the north by the mid-90s, and I've been here ever since. I was seduced by the tropics. I worked for the state government for 20 years. I was a ranger and in charge of 2 historic national parks, education officer for the coastal branch, facilitator for Indigenous coast care, and for the group implementing the Cape York land use study. I worked in some high-profile, highly political Cape York projects. I've been really fortunate in this. I've never had to do anything ordinary in any of the roles that I've had. I've had really amazing experiences working with incredible people in very remote parts of Cape York, the Torres Straits, and in southeastern Arnhem. During this time I worked with Bill Kerwin, the former CEO with the Croydon Shire Council, who was a visionary director for the EPA and the Premier's Department at Cape York Unit. I then left government to raise money for Aboriginal rangers and land management projects at Laura and ran them. I established the Cape York Buffalo Company at Lakeland and raised baby buffalo. I ended up in incredible Croydon by accident, chasing a reference for an Atherton Tablelands job from Bill when he told me about a job that was going here. And what a job it's been! It has been a great pleasure running the arts program and organising the wonderful performances and artists' workshops we have had. Very important tourism has been a big challenge, but is really paying off now. Events like Heritage Week and Queensland Week and projects like the Cemetery Restoration Project have been a wonderful way to bring the community together in hard times and to advance the great place that Croydon is. And the people, what amazing people you all are.